Welcome to this brief guide on how to use Google Sheets Canvas. If you manage anything in Google Sheets, so tasks, projects, or pipelines, and you've ever wished you could share a clean view of it without handing over your entire spreadsheet, well, Google has just solved your problem. At Google I/O, they announced Sheets Canvas. And honestly, I think this is going to change the way a lot of people who use Google Workspace actually work. We're going to build a live Kanban board from a real spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you the sharing trick that I think is the standout feature. Plus, I'll walk you through the other Canvas types as well. So, real quick, Canvas is an interactive layer that sits on top of your existing spreadsheet data. Your spreadsheet is still the engine powering everything, and that's where everything is stored. But Canvas is the display layer, so it renders your data as something that looks and actually behaves like a real application that anyone can use, without them ever needing to touch the underlying grid. There are three types at this point in time: Kanban boards, dashboards, and gallery views, and we'll cover all three today. Now, one other thing to flag before we do dive in: Canvas was only just announced at Google I/O, and it is still rolling out progressively to Workspace users. So if you don't see the option just yet, don't stress, it is coming. And if you've been waiting a while, it might be worth checking with your Workspace admin to make sure that it's been enabled. Alright, here is the spreadsheet that we're working with. This is a project management tracker for a fictional software company called Innertech. Yes, that Innertech. And if you know the movie I'm referencing, first of all, excellent taste. And second of all, you're going to enjoy this. We've got 90 tasks across multiple epics: the TPS report cloud migration, the cover sheet compliance engine, and the Lumbergh GPT memo generator, as well as a few others. Each task has the usual stuff: title, assignee, status, priority, sprint, dates. And there's even a notes column that I'll let you explore on your own. Our team here is led by Peter Gibbons and Michael Bolton, not the singer, very important, alongside Samir, whose last name I'm not even going to attempt, as well as Milton in IT. And then of course there's Bill Lumbergh. Yeah, if you could just go ahead and review this task, that'd be great. The statuses across the board are to do, in progress, in review, done, and blocked, which gives us a perfect spread for a Kanban board. So let's go ahead and build one. Now with our spreadsheet open, here's how we get to Canvas, and this is where Gemini comes in. You'll notice in the top right of the Google Sheets window, there's a dedicated Gemini button. It might say Ask Gemini or just have the Gemini logo, depending on which version you're on. Go ahead and click that and it will open the Gemini panel on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, in that Gemini field at the bottom, you've got a text input field where you can ask questions about your sheet. So things like summarize this data or which tasks are overdue. And it will do all of that. But that's not what we're here for today. What we want is the Tools button. You'll see it right there in the input field. Click on that. Inside the Tools menu, you're looking for Create Canvas. Now, as I mentioned at the start, this is a brand new rolling out feature. So if you can see Create Canvas in your Tools menu, congratulations, you're in. But if you don't see it yet, just hang tight, it's on its way. But for those of you who do have it, go ahead and click that. And now we need to choose what kind of canvas we want to build. You'll be presented with a few options, so you can ask Gemini to create a Kanban board, a dashboard, or a gallery view. And you can either type a natural language prompt describing exactly what you want, or just select one of the suggested canvas types. Given that we've got a project management tracker with task statuses, the Kanban board is the obvious choice. So I'll go ahead and select that. Now, quick heads up here, this is going to take a moment. Gemini is reading through the entire spreadsheet, so it's mapping out the column structure, identifying the status values, and building everything out. The more data you've got, the longer it's going to take. And to be fair, I've given it a fair bit to work with. So we'll give it a couple of moments here while it does its thing. And there it is. We've gone from a 90-row spreadsheet to a clean Kanban board with 5 columns: to do, in progress, in review, done, and blocked. Every single one of those 90 tasks is now a card on this board. You can see at a glance that the bulk of the completed work, so sprints 1 through 5, is stacked up in done, and we've got the current sprint 7 work spread across to do and in progress. And over in that blocked column, we've got just the one card sitting right at the top. That's INI 040, the Lumbergh GPT fine-tuning task. Legal flagged it for some reason. When Lumbergh asked what fine-tuning means, the team told him it was something related to printers. He accepted this, so the task is going nowhere. Now, the board here isn't just for looking at. Let me show you. I'm going to grab this card here and drag it from to do across to in progress. And let it go, and it's done. And now I'm going to hit that View Data button at the top and jump back to the spreadsheet for a second. Find that task in the status column, and there it is. You can see that it's been updated. There was no sync button, no manual edit, it just happened. That's the key thing to understand here. The canvas and the spreadsheet are the same data. They are one source of truth. So let me jump back quickly to the canvas. Beyond dragging cards, if you hover over any card, you'll also see a pencil icon in the top corner. Click that and you can edit the details directly right here. Change the assignee, update the description, adjust the status, kind of all of it without needing to go back to the spreadsheet. And there's also a trash can icon if you do want to remove a task entirely. Just keep in mind that any of those changes will flow straight back to the spreadsheet automatically as well. Now, while we're here, let's walk through the Canvas interface a little bit, because there are a few things here that I think are pretty clever. Up at the top of the canvas, you've got two buttons, View Data and Copy Link. View Data does exactly what it says. We click it and it'll take us straight back to the underlying spreadsheet. This is really useful if you spot something in the canvas that needs correcting and you want to jump straight to the source data. One click and you're there. So now we're back in the spreadsheet, and this is where I want to point something out. Down at the bottom of the screen where you'd normally just see your sheet tabs, you'll notice that there's now a brand new canvas button sitting alongside them. Click that and it shows you every canvas you've created for this spreadsheet. So if you've got multiple views set up, they'll all be listed here. Click the one that you want and it'll take you straight back to it. So that's your way back into the canvas from the spreadsheet, anytime you need it. And now I want to talk about that other button at the top, Copy Link, because this is where Canvas goes from being a cool visualization tool to being a legitimately powerful sharing feature. When you click Copy Link and then paste that URL into a new browser tab, a few things are going to happen. First, it loads directly to the Canvas view, not the spreadsheet, the canvas. So whoever you share that link with immediately lands on the Kanban board, not a wall of rows and columns. That's already great. But the really good bit, and this is the thing I think is actually going to matter for a lot of people who share with stakeholders or management, is that when you load this canvas via that shared link, all of the Google Sheets menu bars are hidden by default. So the file menu, edit, view, insert, format, all of that is hidden. What you see is just the canvas. It looks less like a spreadsheet and more like a purpose-built application. And the canvas is still fully interactive. So the people you share it with can still move cards around the Kanban board. They're not just looking at a static screenshot. They can interact with it exactly as you intend, without accidentally stumbling into your formula bar or your raw data. Think about how you'd normally handle something like this. You build a Sheets tracker, and then someone important needs to see the project status, so you either schedule a meeting to walk them through it, or you export a PDF which is immediately out of date, or you give them edit access and then you hold your breath. Canvas is now a nice fourth option that none of those have. It's a live, interactive view that you can share via a single URL. Now, we've already seen that moving a card updates the spreadsheet, but it works the other way too. So if someone goes directly into the spreadsheet and updates a status, the canvas will reflect that automatically without you doing anything. So there's no refresh, no rebuild. So if your team is a mix of people who prefer working in the spreadsheet and people who prefer the Kanban view, they can both work in their preferred method at the same time, and neither has to worry about the other falling out of sync. There's genuinely just one source of truth here. and the canvas is just a different window into it. That's what makes this different from exporting to somewhere like Trello or Monday.com. The moment you export, you've got two systems that tend to drift apart. In the canvas mode here, that never happens. Now, the Kanban is just one of 3 canvas types, so let me quickly run you through the others. Dashboard is your go-to if you've got metrics or KPIs, so things like sales data, budget tracking, or operational numbers. Gemini builds it as a set of interactive widget cards, so totals, trend charts, and comparisons. It's more of a reading experience than the Kanban, so you're not dragging things around, you're just more looking at that live data. And combined with that copy link that we covered earlier, it's a really clean way to get a live, always current dashboard in front of leadership without them ever needing to touch the actual spreadsheet. Gallery view is the one that tends to surprise people. It renders each row as a visual card. So think product catalog, inventory, contact list, and when you click a card, you get a detail pop-up with all of the fields for that row. You can then make edits right there in the pop-up, and same as everything else in Canvas, those changes flow straight back into the spreadsheet automatically. So in short, Kanban for workflow, dashboard for metrics, gallery for browsing records. Pick whichever one matches your data. And that is Sheets Canvas. If your work already lives in Google Sheets, this is genuinely a big deal. Kanban boards, dashboards, shareable clean links, everything synced live without needing a single third-party tool. If you haven't got the Create Canvas option just yet, it is still rolling out, so hang tight, it'll be with you very, very soon. If you do give it a crack, let me know what you've built with it down in the comments below, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, be sure to check out the channel, and if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.